Silk Road represents one of the most influential networks of trade and cultural exchange in human history. Stretching across thousands of miles and spanning continents, it served as a bridge connecting East and West, facilitating not just the movement of goods, but also ideas, religions, technologies, and cultural practices. Its legacy is a testament to humanity's capacity for interconnectedness, creativity, and resilience. Origins of the Silk Road. The term Silk Road was coined in the 19th century by German geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen, inspired by the prominence of Chinese silk as a traded commodity. However, the roots predate this label by millennia. The Silk Road's origins can be traced back to around the 2nd century BCE during the Han Dynasty in China, 206 BCE to 220 CE, when the Chinese began exporting silk to Central Asia, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean. Early exchanges between China and its neighbors laid the groundwork for the Silk Road. The domestication of the camel, the invention of the wheel, and the establishment of trade posts along key routes were crucial developments that made long-distance trade feasible. Archaeological evidence suggests that even before the Han Dynasty, small-scale trade and cultural exchanges existed between regions like Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and China. Key routes and geography. The Silk Road was not a single unified pathway, but rather a network of interconnected routes. These spanned across Eurasia, beginning in Xi'an, Chang'an, China, and extending through the deserts of Central Asia, the mountains of Persia, and into the Mediterranean region. Key cities along the route included Samarkand, Bukhara, Kashgar, Herat, Baghdad, and Antioch. Each city served as a hub where traders could rest, exchange goods, and interact with other cultures. Geographical challenges played a major role in shaping the Silk Road. Merchants had to navigate the Taklamakan Desert, Pamir Mountains, and Hindu Kush, which required advanced knowledge of routes, climates, and survival techniques. The development of caravanserais, fortified rest stops for traders and animals, made these arduous journeys more manageable.
The role of silk. Silk,
a luxurious fabric discovered in China around 3000 BCE, was the most iconic commodity of the Silk Road. Valued for its smooth texture and shimmering appearance, it became a symbol of wealth and status in Europe and the Middle East. Chinese monopolization of silk production for centuries added to its mystique, with knowledge of silk making, sericulture, guarded as a state secret. While silk was the most famous product traded, the Silk Road facilitated the exchange of a wide array of goods. From the east, items like porcelain, paper, spices, tea, and lacquerware were transported. From the west came gold, silver, glassware, wool, and horses. This trade was not merely transactional, but also transformative, influencing economies, tastes, and industries across regions. Cultural exchange and the spread of ideas. The Silk Road was not just a trade route, it was a cultural superhighway. As merchants, pilgrims, and travelers moved across the continents, they carried ideas and practices that reshaped civilizations. Religions were among the most profound exports. Buddhism, originating in India, traveled along the Silk Road to Central Asia, China, and beyond, profoundly influencing East Asian culture. Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Islam, and Manichaeism also spread along these routes, leaving a mosaic of religious traditions in their wake. Technological innovations flowed both ways. Papermaking and printing, developed in China, revolutionized communication and education in the Islamic world and Europe. Similarly, technologies like irrigation systems and metalworking techniques disseminated across continents, spurring agricultural and industrial development. The Silk Road also played a pivotal role in the development of art and architecture. Central Asian cities like Samarkand became melting pots of artistic traditions, blending Persian, Indian, and Chinese styles. The intricate designs of Persian rugs, the vivid frescoes in Buddhist caves, and the elaborate calligraphy of Islamic manuscripts all reflect the multicultural legacy of the Silk Road. The role of empires. The Silk Road thrived under the protection of powerful empires that could ensure the safety of merchants and caravans. During the Han Dynasty, Chinese expansion into Central Asia secured key routes. Similarly, the Roman Empire created demand for Eastern luxuries, linking the Mediterranean world to Asian markets. The Sasanian Empire, 220-24 to 651 CE, and later the Byzantine Empire became central players in Silk Road trade, acting as intermediaries between East and West. The rise of the Islamic caliphates in the 7th century further boosted trade as Muslim rulers extended their influence across the Middle East and Central Asia. Under the Mongol Empire, 13th to 14th centuries, the Silk Road experienced a golden age. The unification of vast territories under Mongol rule facilitated unprecedented levels of trade and cultural exchange. The Pax Mongolica, Mongol peace, ensured that merchants could travel relatively safely from China to Europe, leading to a flourishing of trade and exploration. The decline of the Silk Road. The decline of the Silk Road began in the late 15th century, driven by several factors. The rise of maritime trade routes, initiated by European explorers like Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus, reduced the reliance on overland trade. Sea routes were faster, less expensive, and could transport larger quantities of goods. Additionally, political instability and fragmentation in Central Asia disrupted traditional trade networks. The decline of the Mongol Empire and the rise of hostile powers along the routes made travel more perilous. Meanwhile, the European colonization of Asia and the Americas shifted the global balance of trade. Legacy of the Silk Road. Although the traditional Silk Road diminished, its legacy remains profound. It set the stage for globalization, showing how interconnected the ancient world was. Many modern trade routes and cultural exchanges trace their origins to Silk Road connections. In recent years, initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative aim to revive the spirit of the Silk Road, fostering economic and cultural ties across Asia, Europe, and Africa. Meanwhile, the historical Silk Road continues to inspire scholars, artists, and policymakers, serving as a symbol of humanity's shared heritage. The Silk Road was far more than a trade route. It was a conduit of civilization, fostering exchange, innovation, and understanding across cultures. Through its network, empires rose, religions spread, and ideas flourished, shaping the trajectory of human history. Though its physical pathways may have faded, its impact endures in the modern world's interconnected global landscape.